Hey everyone, Doris Victoria here, your personal empowerment and conscious millionaire coach. And as I promised in my last video, I'm going to share more insights today about, this is a message for young parents, all parents out there that have young children. If you haven't watched my last video yet, please do so. Today I'm going to talk about how you can play an important role to avoid your child having panic attacks, chronic anxiety, or even dissociation from their body later in their lives. So first of all, I want to tell you that this video is not meant to replace a doctor. I am not a doctor. I am sharing what my personal experience is, my own studies, my own channelings, my own intuition about things, hoping that it will help you make more sense. So if you haven't watched my last video, again, please go back to that little child, but I'm going to describe the same situation briefly again. I was recently on a flight from Phoenix, Arizona to Atlanta before I took my overseas flight to Nice, and I saw a little girl. I had a little girl between 2 or 3 years old sitting in the row behind me in between her parents. And during the flight, she was actually on her father's lap, and she was pretty well, and everything went fine. But then for landing, she was placed in the middle seat between her parents, and her seatbelts had to be fastened. She had to be belted, of course, for takeoff and landing. So she started screaming, and there was no understanding whatsoever from her parents. There were commands. The energy turned from screaming into harshness, into emotional violence, into trying to almost like a suppression of her voice, of her screaming, without knowing that a child, if it's not met with compassion, it will internalize that fear, or it will scream even louder, or it will freeze at one point. But all these behaviors can lead to problems later in life. And I promise you I'm going to talk about panic attacks today, because so many of my clients were suffering from panic attacks when we started our coaching, until we realized where this was coming from. So I want to share from my own experience today with all of you, especially young parents. That little girl, when she was met with no understanding, with no compassion for her situation, none of the parents was able to give her compassion in that moment, to give her presence, to give her awareness, to tell her, hey love, I know it's hard. I know you don't want to be seated there. I know you don't want your seatbelt fastened, but look, we can even play with it. Okay, if that doesn't work, try something else, but be with her. Do not try to calm her fear down, because what she needs in that moment is a feeling of safety. Explain to her, look, mommy has her seatbelt fastened, and I'm fine anyway, because it protects me, it can protect us. So try explaining to that little girl why it had to have the seatbelt fastened, or try to really embrace it. Try to be there for the child. Hold it. Try to calm it down in a very compassionate way. Actually, because the parents were trying to meet it with harshness and military strictness and dominance and control, the child, of course, screamed even louder. And at one point I turned around and I was just looking at her with all the love in my eyes, and I was just murmuring kind words. I said, I know, darling, I know you don't like that. I don't like that either, but it's just for a short moment. It's gonna be okay. We're gonna be okay. I didn't even have to touch her, but just when she locked eyes with me and I locked eyes with her, there was something happening in her nervous system, and I could feel that because she was calming down. What stayed then really made me wanting to record this video. What I saw then when she calmed down is she was just this helpless little girl, and she was like So she was hyperventilating. I realized that, and I was actually starting to breathe with her. I was like, come on, darling, breathe with me. Breathe in, and breathe out. So I was trying to do that, but I was just, I was hidden behind the 2 seats. I was just trying to lock eyes with her in this little scratch that we could see each other. I didn't really see much of her, so she couldn't see my body move with the way I was trying to show her to breathe. And I was trying to lock eyes with her parents in order to tell them, try to breathe with her. She's just 2 years old. If you let her breathe, if you let her hyperventilate while she's in panic and stress and terror, this can show later in her life as a panic attack. It can, it can come up as chronic anxiety, as chronic fear, panic attacks, dissociation from your body, from your environment, from your parents even. So this kind of like breathing that young children do not really learn, that is necessary to regulate your nervous system in order to grow up as a healthy human being, was completely misunderstood in that role from her parents. So I was trying to look into their eyes, but they avoided looking at me. I think they were in shame or in fear. I don't know. I think they felt ashamed that their child was screaming, but there's nothing to be ashamed of. We can all have fears. We all are human beings. So I really wanted to share with them, please try breathing with the child. But something inside of me told me, no, they don't lock eyes with you. They're probably not open for feedback. So don't waste your energy for those that are not ready. That is why I wanted to record this video and share it with you, because you might know someone or be someone that is raising a little human, and maybe you have gone through situations with your little child where he or she was screaming in fear, and you maybe were not able to meet them in what they really needed in that moment. And remember, there's no what they need. It is always how we respond to what they need in that moment. It's not about the what, it's always about the how. How will you respond? How you're being present, how you're being compassionate, how you're being there for your child, smiling at it, looking at it with safety. It's okay, So the child, actually, that little girl, I could clearly feel that what her nervous system internalized in that moment, that her parents were trying to hush her, but with control and violence, emotional violence and dominance, and instead of compassion and understanding, what she internalized was, I'm not safe. It is not safe to show my fear. My fear is not safe. I am not held. I'm all alone in this world. Nobody is hearing me. Nobody is seeing me. I have to hold my breath. I have to hold my voice. I have to hold my truth, because no one is hearing me anyway. And this is why I really needed to be present for her. I needed to let her know that there is someone. There is people here on this planet, souls here, that can hold your soul, that know what you're going through. So young children, if they are met in a strict and military strict, dominant kind of controlling way, when they are in fear or in terror, their breathing can get disturbed. And when our breathing gets disturbed, the nervous system gets disturbed. But then the two are playing together. The breathing is influencing the nervous system, and the nervous system is influencing the breathing. So this child is probably growing up as a survivor instead of as a thriver. And is that really the world of tomorrow that you envision? Do you want a world that is like today's world, where there's war and violence and disconnection and crimes? Or do you want a world of thrivers, with children that have been met with understanding and compassion? And again, this is not a video about blame. It is a reminder that we need to respond different to the needs of our children. So when your child is breathing like shallow and fast because she's in stress or in terror, be aware of her breathing. Take her gentle into her arms if she's allowing it or if he's allowing it. If not, just be on your knees, lock eyes with them, and then try to breathe with them. Hold their hands and just, tell them, it's okay, my darling. It's okay what you feel. I'm here. I'm holding you. It's okay how you're feeling. Mommy's here. Daddy's here. I'm holding you. Hold their hand and then breathe with them. Invite them to breathe with you. Come on, darling. Let's breathe in. And let's breathe out. So for me, having had chronic anxiety and panic attacks before, I healed myself through somatic breath work. Actually, I had a Buteyko instructor. I found an instructor 25 years ago, and I started working with him, and he taught the Buteyko method. For all of you that are not familiar, Buteyko was a Russian professor who was actually teaching longer pauses. He was actually teaching shallow breathing, but his philosophy was kind of like the Laotian monks. They were always like, the perfect person breathes like a mouse, meaning that you breathe so little, you almost, like look at Buddhists. When you look at Buddhist monks, for example, I've always been amazed because I was seeing them in meditation, but it looked like they were not breathing. I didn't see their chest rising and sinking, and I was like, how are they doing this? Is meditation like not breathing? But then I learned they are all in this kind of like Buteyko method. It's like a very gentle, a very shallow breathing. But mostly what it helped me with is it was longering the pauses. I was definitely hyperventilating because the longest I could hold my breath 25 years ago was 21 seconds. Today I'm up to 3 minutes and 50 seconds or something. So it's all training. This is the good news for all parents out there, for all parents who have panic attacks or who are raising children not knowing that the way children are being treated, the way children when they're in terror or in fear, the way you as a parent are being present with them in that moment is determining if this child will have chronic anxiety, panic attacks, or dissociation or whatever later in their childhood. This is where the foundation of every behavioral pattern, and a panic attack is just an adoption, so to speak. It's a behavioral pattern, an adoption that was formed as a child, for example, because you were not safe, or you felt like there was no one there with you, there was no one seeing you. You did not feel safe. You did not have a present parent that could be there with you when you needed it the most. So this message, this video, again, this is why I wanted to really make this video. This is for parents and for children out there. There is hope. There is hope. You can heal whatever behavioral pattern you are having. You can get over it. Look at me. I have healed my own anxieties mostly. I mean, this is a lifelong job, but I'm on it, and I very much listen to the well-being, the feeling of my inner voice. What do I need? And then I'm giving it to myself. So again, this is Doris Victoria. Thank you for being with me here today, and I hope this video was helping you. Please again share it like the last video. Please share this video with every parent that you might know, or everyone who is planning a family, who is planning to have a little kid. Remember that having a child is like nothing you have ever lived before. It is a commitment. You cannot just have a child and continue your life the way it was before. No, you as a parent, you are going to be triggered. You are going to be, your patience, your extra patience is going to be triggered. It's going to be demanded, because having a child is not easy. I had a dear friend who always said, having kids is the hardest of all jobs, but it is also the most rewarding of all. So remember, parent out there, if you raise your child with love, with compassion, with presence, with kindness, holding their emotions, being there with their emotions, helping them to breathe, through something. I'm sure that the child would have calmed way earlier if the parents would have been breathing with her, showing the child how to breathe. Because as I said, she was hyperventilating, which was increasing the fear that she felt, the feeling of unsafety. So imagine every parent out there, what a wonderful world this could be if we would be all raised with compassion and love. Do not repeat what maybe had been done to you onto your children. Break the pattern. You always have the choice in how you want to respond to your child's needs. I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.